Minister, it will be much easier if all these policies, the strategies, they are put in place and ASAP and communicated to all the industry's practitioners so that they know which way to go. Because, for example, I go as a marketer from MIHB to a client, and the biggest question is, why doesn't the government talk about this? You see, so it's high time Tanzania mainland and the island to come and talk about it openly, just like the way the royal tour was done and everything. This will really impress and bring more investors to the industry, especially to the subcategory halal tourism.
Thank you. Can you have another question from the... yes, madam, in the middle there, and then I'll go to brother, I think maybe. No, at the back. Sorry, brother Salam. Short and to the point.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, my name is Aziz. I'm coming from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. I just wanted to ask one question, and I'll just direct it straight to Dr. Ali. As for me, I could say that halal is not much about maybe tourism and some kind of stuff. For me, I would put halal as a way of life, because halal, it starts with the things, even the type of foods we eat, like the meat, water, and everything, and then it goes above into the level of tourism. For instance, now, the Zanzibar Commission of Tourism is focusing and promoting the halal tourism in Zanzibar, but for me, I see sometimes like, apart from this high level, here in the ground, there are types of food, drinks, and all this kind of stuff. And as we know, our laws in Tanzania mainland and here in Zanzibar, the halal certification in these business people like hotels and other areas, it's not a compulsory. So what initiative government should take in order to make sure that up to reach to this halal tourism level here, like everything is okay and people are safe. Also our grounds here in the foods, drink and everything, so also it will be proper, because I could come to a hotel which is proper halal certified and everything, but how sure am I that the food I've just eaten maybe outside or maybe inside in the hotel is safe for me, while people they are taking as halal, it is not a compulsory for me like TRA or maybe some other government certification stuff or kind of stuff I need to have as a compulsory. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Ali, when you are responding to that particular, of which I think maybe might be the last one of our session because we are running out of time, I have noted, is it compulsory for everything to be 100% for us to operate the halal? You can add on that.
Because this is a very deep subject, but what I can say is quickly, yes, however, it needs to take time. From the business perspective, if you look at that. For example, last May, some of our participants here have been invited by another organization to Turkey. The hotel was a halal hotel from A to Z. So, but this was actually the owner decisions. But in order for governmental point of it, so yes, I agree with our sister. This must be the lifestyle. However, from A to Z, it must be also compulsory in the universities as a subject. It should go into academic perspective, and also it should apply to. It should divide from different business, because last time actually we were talking with the other colleague here, and halal friendly and Muslim friendly is another terminology. However, it is gonna take time to get a pure halal from A to Z by getting help for the entrepreneurs from the government and states. That's it. can add to that.
Thank you. I see brother is insisting. Maybe quickly.
Assalamu alaikum.
Last question.
Very quickly, thank you, the Tanzania Commission of Tourism. I had spoken to Sister Hafsa and Sister Rahma about this, and I thank them for bringing this to Zanzibar. My question to the success story of Turkey with Dr. Ali, with your nation, and Dr. Yankee for Indonesia. Your countries have a big number of halal-friendly tourism. Muslims and non-Muslims come to your countries, right? And you have even women's-only beaches and things like that, amazing things. How do you think that particular market can come to Zanzibar? Because, number one, Indonesia, Malaysia are the top countries with Muslims. For example, if we're just taking the Muslim concentration, how will they come to Zanzibar? How affordability will work for them? For the Middle East people, they will come, but there are only so many in Middle East. The major populations are in the East. How will you attract this market to Zanzibar? To Turkey, they will come because it's not very far, but Africa is far for them. Please.
Okay, thank you, brother. How to promote the tourists from Indonesia to come to Zanzibar? Of course, one of the strategies is to promote by social media blogger, yeah, or maybe, I can be one because I will share my experience in Zanzibar, yeah, so that at least they know that this is the safe country, yeah, because we need promotion, yeah, and then social media is the best tools, yeah, nowadays the social media, yeah, so we have to promote by social media, and then what's that, brother? Okay. Sure. Yeah. Well, you can cater the middle class first. Yeah, the middle class, and of course the middle, the not really the C, but maybe the A or the B one. And you can. That's why you have to come to Bali to my conference, and you can you can promote the tourism there in my booth, because I will also give a booth that you can promote the tourism, the halal tourism here. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, Dr. Matano, we are running out of time. Actually, I like the question of brother because he was trying to see those money from Indonesia, how they can come to Tanzania, specifically Zanzibar. And as far as we have a very beautiful beach, and also, okay, as we are come to close to our insightful discussion of understanding the halal tourism product, principle, and practice. As a takeaway, it's clear that halal tourism industry, from the notes and from the speaker, it's not just about economic opportunity, although that's for those who are in business in markets, actually this is foremost, and even for the government, for them to earn more revenue. But for us who are living in Zanzibar and Tanzania, it's not only about, but it's a chance from the experience we have learned from us to foster our culture, understanding, ethics, and value toward this inclusive kind of travel opportunity for the people who are coming, and especially for those who are sensitive to the family-friendly, cultural-friendly, ethics, and value. We have heard about collaboration among stakeholders from the presentations, and also including the business, governments, and fine bodies, and also essential for the standards to be maintained. And in conclusion, I take this opportunity to encourage all of us to deep dive from what we have get as insight for the presentation, and to continue this conversation beyond today's event, especially for the Commission, for the tour operators, for teams as well, because the potential for halal tourism, Dr. Ali has shared some big number which has exploded in my head, like, and it's not only has not exploited to the maximum, because I remember one time I went to Malaysia. At that time, the Dr. Who is the chairman of Tanzania Tourist Board now, Dr. Ramadhan, told me that, Seleman, we have a mission, we as ambassadors, to bring tourists you, our esteemed panelists, for your valuable contribution, and to all of you who has added and asked some few questions. Thank you for giving this opportunity to share this insightful. Allow me to end this session, and then over to you, MC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, moderator and our panelists. I would like to take this opportunity and thank our guest of honor, the High Table, for joining us. Unajua majukumu ni mengi, and it's Sunday, as he said before, and because of other responsibility, we would like to allow you. Tunakupa ruhusa yetu, kwa sababu tuko hapa kwa ajili yako, lakini tunakupa ruhusa ukaendelea na majukumu mengine wakati sisi tunaendelea kukaa. We would like to allow our honorable guest of honor to go on with his other responsibilities as we continue with our second session for the panel discussion. So we're kindly asking you to say goodbye to us. Asante sana.
There is a special request from our guest.
Yeah.
If you can have a special picture with the Honorable Minister before they leave.
Yeah, amekubali. He said it's okay, yeah. We can have a memory. So how do we take that? I think kwa kule nyuma, yeah? Okay. We can just squeeze and have I will allow my team to keep the arrangement for the picture. In the meantime, I'd like to let you know that we have water available behind our venue. Wale wanahitaji maji, because we do not have a bottled water for tunataka kutunza mazingira. So if you need water, it's available behind the venue. Let's also remember we are live on ZBC2. So kama mtu hayupo hapa, yuko nyumbani, you can still get all the exciting discussions that are going on. I would also like to welcome the other panelists so that we can have this photo together. Na pia ningependa kuwakaribisha other tourism stakeholders kutoka HAZ, ZATO, ZATI, ZNCC, ZWCC. Naomba sote tujiunge kwenye picha hizi. All the tourism stakeholders na all the stakeholder wa uchumi wa Zanzibar. Tupige picha pamoja hii memory ili tuwaruhusu meza kuu wakaendelea na majukumu mengine wakati sisi tunaendelea. ZATI, ZNCC, ZATO, ZWCC, HAZ. Karibu sana. Tunaweza tujigawe mara mbili jamani ili picha ikae vizuri. Can we divide into two groups? Let us divide it to two groups so that we can have good photos. Thank you so much. HAZ, naomba urudi. Uko hujatokea kwenye picha. Naomba urudi tena. Can we go on the second photo, please? Biubwa. All tourism stakeholders, wadau wote wa maendeleo, utalii, naomba tuje picha yetu tupate ya kumbukumbu. Alafu tunaendelea na discussion, ya second panel discussion. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa mgeni rasmi, waziri wetu wa utalii, asante kwa kujiunga nasi. Asante Mheshimiwa Sharif. Tunashukuru uwepo wako. Asanteni sana. Asante balozi wa Malaysia, nchini Malaysia, Tanzania. Mheshimiwa Sharif, asante sana. Tumefurahi uwepo wako. Karibu, siku njema. We are kindly asking the audience to remain seated as we continue on our second panel discussion. Naomba tukae tuendelee na discussion zetu ili tumalize kwa wakati. Ratiba ni nyingi, mambo mazuri yapo kwa ajili yetu. Naomba watu warudi sehemu zao. Ladies and gentlemen, tukumbuke tunaendelea na panel discussions zetu. We are kindly asking you to remain seated as we allow our honorable guest of honor, Mheshimiwa Waziri akiondoka, we will continue with our panel discussion. And the second panel discussion is about Halal tourism framework, challenges and opportunities. If you are a tourism stakeholder, this is very crucial for you, and including myself, because this is where we get the opportunities. Nataka tutengeneze hela, tunajua njaa kali. So the opportunities are here. So we should really listen, stay behind, and listen on this panel discussion number 2, because it's about challenges and opportunities available in halal tourism sector. Thank you. Please remain seated. We will resume our panel discussion momently. Tunamruhusu tu mheshimiwa aondoke, alafu sisi tunaendelea. Asanteni sana. Thank you for your cooperation.
Wakati huu ambako waziri anayehusika na masuala ya utalii hapa Zanzibar, Mudrick Soraga, akiwa anatoka kama hivyo katika ukumbi huu uliopo katika Hotel Verde hapa visiwani Zanzibar, tukupitisha tu japo kwa uchache katika yale ambayo yalijadiliwa sana katika mjadala wa kwanza, mjadala ambao ulikuwa unawahusisha wataalamu mbalimbali akiwepo Dr.Vianna Hassan, Matano, Dr. Ali Eren pamoja na Dr. Yanki Harjasat. Na miongoni mwa yale ambayo yalikuwa yamezungumzwa ni namna ambavyo Zanzibar inaweza ikauendeleza mbele hii dhana nzima ya utalii halali na fursa zilizopo. Na moja kati ya vitu ambavyo ni muhimu sana Dr. Ali Eren alikuwa akizungumza, alikuwa anazungumzia swala zima la sustainability. Akasema kwamba sustainability, dhana hiyo mara nyingi sana huwa inachukuliwa tu katika kutunza hali ya ukijani, lakini akasema kimsingi ili dhana nzima ya mafanikio ya utalii wa halali unapaswa kupita katika maeneo yote, ikiwemo eneo muhimu zaidi, eneo la uchumi. Serikali katika namna ambavyo inaandaa sera zake, namna ambavyo inaandaa sheria na mipango yote ya maendeleo, lazima la sustainability lizingatiwe kwa upana wake. Lakini mbali ya hivyo, wananchi wa kawaida na wenyewe wanapaswa kupewa maarifa na elimu ya kutosha kuhusiana na swala zima la uhalali katika eneo zima la utalii. Pamoja na hayo, miongoni mwa yale mengine ambayo yalikuwa yameulizwa kama maswali ilikuwa ni namna ambavyo watu kutoka katika bara Asia wanaweza kukaletwa. Na watu kutoka Asia wanaweza wakakaribishwa Zanzibar. Kwa sasa hivi, hebu tuende moja kwa moja kwenye kundi la pili, Mtumwa Saidi.
Asante sana Moses. Sasa tunakwenda katika kundi la pili ambalo la lenyewe litajadili masuala ya changamoto na fursa katika huu utalii halali, na ambapo watakuwa katika mjadala huu kwa hili kundi la pili atakuwa Samiha Ali, ni mjumbe wa bodi ya wanawake.
Good morning.
Na kwa sasa ndo anaanza yeye katika kuelezea mjadala wake.
I'm in front of you moderating this amazing panel. In my capacity as board member of the Zanzibar National Chamber of Commerce representing women and youth. As we look at the global travel landscape, halal tourism has emerged as one of the fastest growing segments, with more destinations worldwide recognizing the importance of catering to the needs of Muslim travelers. Halal tourism now just goes beyond offering halal food. It involves a couple of services and experiences designed to align with Islamic principles, from prayer facilities and modest accommodations, options to gender-segregated leisure activities and family-friendly environments. Understanding this market-specific needs is crucial now more than ever, especially to tap into its amazing potential. Today, we're going to delve into an important aspect of this sector, providing an overview of halal tourism and discussing the importance of a structured framework that ensures these services are both consistent and authentic. A clear and well-defined framework plays a huge role in not only building trust among Muslim travelers, but also in helping businesses and destinations standardize their offerings. This leads to a more cohesive and reliable experience, which is key in developing strong, long-term relationships with this growing customer base. As we begin, I will just give a brief introduction on all our panelists. So ladies first, I'm going to start with Mrs. Feiruz Holiday October, who is an influential figure in the field of halal tourism. Mrs. Feiruz brings over 25 years of experience in the tourism industry and currently serves as the Chief Vision Officer and Travel Designer for Halal Hopper Travel and Taste Experiences. Her work focuses on providing immersive halal travel experiences that combine authentic gastronomic tours with cultural heritage. Additionally, she is also the interim chairlady of the Halal Tourism Association of South Africa and the director for the Women in Tourism Western Cape. She has been a key advocate for promoting halal tourism, emphasizing the need for greater awareness, education, and skills development in this growing sector. We're very honored to have her with us today to share her expertise on this vital and growing segment of the global tourism market. I would also like to introduce our other esteemed panelist, Mr. Mohammed Sadiq Dindar, who serves as the Manager of Marketing and Promotions for the Middle East and Turkey at South African Tourism. With a deep understanding of international tourism markets, particularly halal tourism, Mr. Mohammed has played an important role in promoting South Africa as a leading destination for Muslim travelers. Mr. Mohammed is also known for his very forward-thinking approach, catering to the unique needs of Gen Z Muslim travelers and ensuring that South Africa is seen as an accessible and appealing destination for halal-conscious tourists. His expertise in developing marketing strategies, as well as his focus on sustainable tourism, makes him an invaluable asset in today's discussion. Our next panelist, Dr. Sapta Nirwander, a leading voice in global tourism and an advocate for the rapidly growing halal tourism sector. As the chairman of the Indonesia Halal Lifestyle Center and the former Vice Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy in Indonesia, Dr. Nirwander has played a very big role in shaping Indonesia's position as a major destination. His vast experience in both government and private sector gives him unique insight into how halal tourism can drive economic growth. Last but not the least, our final panelist, Professor Muhammad Hafid, who is the current CEO of the Presidential Delivery Bureau, but also a very renowned economist and academic with deep expertise in Islamic finance and socio-economic policy. He has held prominent roles in academia, serving as a lecturer at Zanzibar University and Sumait University, where he has made significant contributions to the fields of Islamic banking and finance. His leadership roles in major government institutions on the island have further positioned him as a key figure in Zanzibar's economic development. We're honored to have him share his insights on the evolving landscape of halal tourism and its impact on general tourism and investment in Zanzibar. On that note, we're going to get started with Dr. Sapta. So the first question to you, Doctor, would be, Indonesia is known to be a very Islamic country with a large Muslim population. Can you explain how Indonesia has developed its strategies in this area? And can you share some of the best practices that have emerged? Is there any specific policies or initiative that have been put into effect that has put Indonesia as a leading destination for halal travelers?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, the moderator. It's been very nice to introduce me as a practitioner. Also, I was Vice Minister of Tourism. That's been also practical. I'm also a professor in university. That's the academician part. I think I can try to mix up my experience, how to develop, how to really enrich and encourage of halal tourism in especially in Indonesia and also in ASEAN or sometimes also in global wide. I think I will start with the image. That's already my presentation, please. Allow me. And then thank you for the commission, especially for Arif, who come to Jakarta to visit me and then invite me here. And it's a very interesting experience to visit this very beautiful island, Zanzibar. I know by historical background, Zanzibar is this is the title given to me, Moderator. What's your name? Semina, yes. Halal Tourism Framework Challenge and Opportunity. I think you will operate or just, yes. All right, because the time is very short, you know. Okay. Yes, first, or my assistant from Indonesia this can help you, Bobby. Bob, please. Yes, this Halal Tourism Framework Challenge Opportunity. I will start from halal. Halal actually is a global trend and a business opportunity, not only halal tourism. Why? Because halal is, according to Indonesia, no. According to Indonesia Halal Lifestyle Center, halal is for everyone. Halal is a right for every Muslim, but it's indeed a privilege for everyone. That means rahmatan lil alamin. That's the halal, right? Okay. Oh, yes. This is from Dinas Standard, our partner. Why the halal become the global trend and a business opportunity? First thing, because it's touched many sectors. The value also universal. Then we're going to one semester to explain this, these matters. I going fast because the time is limited. And also from supply and demand, the demand is very big for halal. I mean halal industry, not halal tourism only. You can see from OIC, consists 57 countries. There's a big demand and big supply also from this country. I think you can imagine Indonesia already has 270 million people. We are not Muslim country, but we are the biggest Muslim population in the world. The second is Pakistan, all right? And of course, this is a sector, what we call halal sector. Of course, the biggest is food, because we have a daily obligation, without any food. I think seafood in Zanzibar is very delicious one. I have the Cape Town restaurant 2 nights. Last night, it's very nice, especially lobster and also calamari. Oh, good. Yeah, that's halal food. Halal food, big one. There's Sharia finance, of course. Modest patient, don't forget. Actually, many of modest patients become also important economically. Media recreational, pharmaceutical, halal tourism, don't forget our cosmetic. This is a daily life for the Muslimah. Muslimah Soleha. There's cosmetic, like our moderator, you can see. As for Perus also, you can see how the beauty and they use the cosmetic. Of course, cosmetic must be halal. Education and training, medical care. Fania, you see the medical care, wellness is important, right? And art and culture, of course, right? This is 10 sector can become trend and global business, not for the Muslim, for everyone. That what they mean, the opportunity for everyone. Yeah, of course, the Muslims must be the first. The money, this dinar standard, our partner said, for food, you can see 1.4 trillion, not rupiah or shayli, dollar. You can imagine, you calculate it by shayli or by rupiah, how many rupiah already done there. And of course, tourism is $133 billion, right? For Indonesia, it's a big market, Indonesia. Indonesia has, for tourism, you can see that $3.37 billion. And of course, also the big one is a cosmetic and side. We are not going to elaborate, detail this. This only just to show you how important the market and overview of the market Indonesia halal. Yes, this is about tourism. You can imagine, projected 160 million the Muslim travelers over the world. I think if you have 1 million coming to Zanzibar, how many hotel, how many restaurants you have to open daily? If 1 million, that can be possible. Like also Bali. Bali has more than 1 million. Basic Islamic tourism in the Quran shows how many ayah. That's important. So the important one is Al-Jum'ah and also Al-Mulk, verse 15. You can travel along to the universe, and then you have to connect each other. This is part of the Quran. Yes, and this is, I think I have to share with your minister when he asking about the misperception, the misunderstood about the halal tourism. Yes, Indonesia has a long experience. When I was in the ministry, and then I was vice minister of tourism, there are many discussions about this one, from ulama, from practitioner, academician, from industry. What should Indonesia has? Historical tourism, religion tourism is different, Sharia tourism, more Shari'i, or halal trip, halal holiday, halal tourism, universal, and Muslim-friendly tourism. That's, we come up in the final, yes, not really final, but we accept the definition or the title of halal tourism or Muslim-friendly. This halal tourism concern, yes? And halal tourism is distinct from tourism since supported by self-esteem need adhered to the Islamic values. That's important, yeah? In the hotel, in the culture, in the entertaining, and etc. And that's important, not number one. Number three, because he's Vice President Indonesia, Pak Maruf Amin, this ulama, is a big ulama in Indonesia, he said, halal tourism is about extended services. Extended services for Muslim travelers. What is extended services? Halal food, and of course, prayer amenities or prayer facilities. Not, we are going to transform the destination. I think same things, the concept. Bali is not going to be transformed as halal destination, but the Balinese has to have facilities, halal food, and then also for the prayer amenities, etc. In fact, in Bali, there is a many halal restaurant than non-halal restaurant in Bali. Why? Because they know they have to serve the client from Islamic communities. And also Pak Bambang, this is a professor, before his national development planning and etc. Halal tourism is not about zonation, zonasi. Then we don't define like some area to be halal destination. Like very famous lake, they spell Lake Toba. Lake Toba is not going to be transformed as halal destination. But if you're going to this Lake Toba, the very famous one, they have provide some related with the Muslim needed food and of course prayer amenities, right? This the concept of hospitality services in Islam. Last 2 weeks, I have been conference in Malaysia. They asked me about the concept of hospitality services in Islam. It's easy. Start from smile. Smile is ibadah. Yeah, you can imagine. Then in Zanzibar is smile. There is salam. And second, of course, respect to the guests. Yeah, especially our mother. Yeah, yes, mother and father and etc. or mother-in-law, especially. You have to respect them if you come to our house. Silaturahim. Islam silaturahim is fostering the economy, etc. And last is also important, the brotherhood. What we call silaturahim, ukuah Islamiyah, ukuah wataniyah, ukuah basariyah. That's a global basariyah, ukuah basariyah. That's tourism. You can see the travelers until the end is about money. It's about economic activity. It's what we can see the dollar, we can see also yen, and then etc. How many job creation, how many multi-professionalism sector, and of course, tourism is not alone, but tourism also consider trade and investment. That's this morning the minister has been mentioned about the investment. This is halal tourism component. I think this is important services for the halal, right? And challenge only. This discussion, long discussion in Indonesia. How about the Burkini vest bikini? You know, bikini versus Burkini. Burkini is like this, a beautiful one. Burkini, bikini you can imagine by yourself. Yeah, and I don't want to sell. There's a haram beach. There is a private beach, Muslim-friendly beach, public beach, or entertainment. I think yesterday we have good entertainment during the cruise. Sunset cruise? That's very good. Huh? This is Italiano style. Rimini, Italia. Muslim and women to enjoy the sun in private. That they call woman beach club. Woman beach club. That there is no non-muhrim there, right? And this time management, that in Thailand, they divided because this is related with investment, Professor. If you have two pools, it's expensive. You have one pool, but you have based on schedule. Man and woman family mix, but in the morning for men and for family, I think afternoon, etc. We can schedule for the time management aspects for the pool. This is a very sensitive area for halal tourism pool. And they asked me, Pasapta, it's very expensive, halal tourism. No, it's smart. We have to make schedule in the morning, or maybe for the men, subuh, after subuh, they can swim subuh. Okay, this one, the development of Muslim-friendly tourism, right? There's Muslim-friendly cruise ship, Singaporean. You can see they're selling a halal-friendly cruise. You can book, you can see around in Singapore, Indonesia, and etc. And this is also the new solution about halal tourism in Malaysia. And well, of course, we work with Indonesia. They call the Banda Aceh, Indonesia, Maldives, etc. Before we are going from Indonesia to Jeddah, takes 1 month per boat. Now it's 12 days. They can going with, or they can enjoying the Islamic cruises in Malaysia. It's only $4,000 per person. You can enjoy it, right? Okay. This is also a solution for Bangkok, the leading hotel halal, and also in Paris, halal by request. You just request, you want a halal room, they take up all the alcohol, they just give you orange juice and the other juice, and also halal food. You know, you don't take up the towel also, because towel or the halal. Huh? Okay, this Indonesia, actually the condition, performance of halal tourism. Indonesia is number 1 with Malaysia. Indonesia number 1. This is Global Muslim Travel Index. Indonesia is number 1 for halal tourism. Yes, largest Muslim population, yes. Diverse and natural beauty is normal because we have 17,000 islands. And rich in culture, of course. Halal tourism benefit, boosting economic growth, yes. Creating job, yes. Diversifying tourism industry. That's number 1. I think you can share our knowledge and experience with you, Zanzibar. We love to share that. That's also part of our job. One of the audience asked about the potential for Indonesia. Indonesia travel market, you can see 5.8 million travelers approaching, outbound, yeah, and approximately 11.3 billion rupiah, dollar, you can see. Of course, Hajj and pilgrimage Umrah is the best one, the big one. Yeah, Umrah for Indonesia is number one, right? You can see, and then you can have visit Indonesia. You can enjoy many of culture and natural and also economic creative Indonesia. Now, I want to emphasize or mentioning about all potential Zanzibar in Indonesia. Yes, Zanzibar is exciting opportunities. One, you have natural beauty also, park, forest, mountain, spices. You have a culture heritage. You have access transportation is easy. You know, from Qatar, I flew with Qatar to Doha, and Doha only is 5.5 hours to Doha to Zanzibar. Same things to Turkey. Turkey is 12 hours from Jakarta. It's a more the same. I'm going to Zanzibar and to Istanbul. Yeah. Amenities, services, IT, creative economy, SMS. You have creative economy in Old Town. Marketing communication, of course, the online and offline. You have also MIHB. There's a convention and exhibition. You have also what we call festival. That can be exciting opportunity for the Zanzibar. This one, Zanzibar, exciting natural beauty. Just Bobby took yesterday, yeah? Canggu Island, Blue Lagoon Zanzibar, Sunset Zanzibar, wow. Spicy Zanzibar, Canggu Island, Nungwi, and Freddie Mercury, wow. Museum, Stone Old Towns, it's interesting. I just go to, you know, a little bit exercise, 2 hours walking here yesterday. A little bit tired for me. But enjoy after that. We have a very good lunch. And 4, Stone, souvenir shop, Cape Town Fish Market. That's all opportunity heritage site. This one is important. Sunset booth, hotel, smart hotel, access, halal tourism, Zanzibar seafood. Yeah. This is important also for special market. Tanzanite, what's Tanzanite? How pronounce Tanzanite? Tanzanite. 1,000 times rare than diamond. Wow. I will buy only 5 for my wife, this one, but smaller. That the imitation one, not the original one. Tanzanian stone, souvenir shop, okay? This one, natural beauty. Okay, nah, this rock bar. Oh, Zanzibar, wood souvenir shop, vegetable, wow, this is very nice, and a port, and spice Zanzibar. How? That they're asking, well, this one of you asked about potential Indonesia goes here. Indonesia, Zanzibar, Istanbul, Turkey, or Doha, or Muscat, Oman to Zanzibar. Why? Because we have more than 1 million per year going outbound. They go what we call Umrah plus plus. After that Umrah, they can go Istanbul to Iran to Jordan, and why not we offer to Zanzibar? Give broke hand. You just take count. Our Muslim in Indonesia, 270 million. If the middle class only 5%, you can imagine how many million then? 13 million. If 500,000 people goes to Zanzibar, you can imagine how many money that we can bring it. Because outbound Indonesia is inbound, but outbound also important for Indonesia. That's why Umrah is number one. That Umrah is different classes. That Umrah can be plus to Turkey, plus to Jordan, plus to Zanzibar, why not? The new destination, your competitor is Umrah plus to Uzbekistan, to Tashkent and Samarkand. Okay? Thank you. The 7W, the Sabta W, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah wal afiyat wa syukurillah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Naam, ni kama tulivyokueleza hapo awali, huu ni mjadala wa pili sasa ambao unaendelea, na aliyetoka kufanya wasilisho la kwanza ni Dr. Sabta Luanda, yeye kutoka Indonesia. Hivi sasa tunarejea tena kwenye mjadala huu. Katika yale ambayo yamewasilishwa na Dr. Nirwanda ni pamoja na namna ambavyo Indonesia imepiga hatua kubwa sana katika eneo hilo la utalii mtumwa. Miongoni mwa vitu ambavyo Dr. Nirwanda amevisifia kwa hapa Zanzibar ni maakuli, chakula cha Zanzibar. Unasemaje?
Asante Moses, imebidi nicheke kidogo, maana nikisema kwenye masuala ya vyakula kwa Zanzibar, asilimia kubwa watu wake kwenye mapishi wako vizuri, na mapishi mengi unakuta ya Kiswahili na ya asili. Tukizungumzia mabogwe, ukizungumzia ugali wa muhogo, ukizungumzia ugali wa mtama, ukizungumzia pweza, chaza na mambo mengine ambayo Zanzibar kiasili yanapatikana. Na hata katika masuala mapishi pia huwa una tamasha huwa linafanyika kila mwaka, inakuwa mara nyingi mwezi wa 7. Kwa hiyo pale unakutana wapishi wakongwe wa masuala makopa, yani vitu vyote vya asili vinakutana hapo. Na hata ikiwa hilo tamasha linafanyika, hata ile sekta ya utalii kwa siku hiyo inazidi kukua, kwa maana watalii kutoka maeneo mbalimbali wanafika katika eneo hilo kujionea ladha halisi ya vyakula vya asili ambavyo vinapatikana Zanzibar. Kingine amesifia masuala spice, na kweli swala la viungo Zanzibar ndo kwenyewe. Ukija Zanzibar utakuta biriani, utakuta pilau, utakuta vyakula vingi. Lakini kila chakula ambacho kinapikwa hapa, swala la spice au viungo vya asili haviwezi kukosekana. Lakini mjadala unaendelea, tuwasikilize wadau wengine wanaochangia kuhusiana na masuala haya ya utalii, na tutarudi kuchambulia kile ambacho tumekisikia kwa hatua ya pili.
What I'd like to firstly say is just to introduction of, the definition of halal tourism. So it talks about travel that complies with Islamic law and, of course, catering to Muslim travelers. But I also want to interject there to say that halal tourism is also for the non-halal Muslim consumer. That's a market we tend to forget about, because it's also a market that understands, their needs for consuming proper, healthy, ethical food. And then, of course, we know that the sector is growing so fast, and we need to keep up with the trends thereof. So we spoke about, our panel before this spoke about framework, and that there maybe was no framework that was put in place. But everything that we do in life has to start from somewhere. So us as Muslims, we are the framework, because we have core elements. There are certain things that we need. Difference between a need and a want. It's what we need, but what are other people prepared to give us? So we'll start from right to left, as we normally would do, from the core elements. You look at cultural experiences, and of course, activities of, respectful activities as well. So if you're going into a particular space, you need to make sure that those spaces cater for the needs of that Muslim traveler. Then, of course, the attractions, sites and places that we visit, are they conducive to the Muslim traveler? Those beaches that Dr. Safta had just spoken about now, does it cater to our needs, especially the women? And then, of course, also halal dining. There's also the fine line between what people call halal friendly. I sidestep, and I think a majority of Muslims sidestep the friendly space. We always want to make sure that what we consume, we don't have to have doubt in our minds where that's concerned. And I also believe that many of the businesses, it's a way for them to get us into their space, but are they being responsible in delivering the food that we need to consume? Then, of course, looking at halal accommodation, providing halal food, and, of course, prayer facilities and privacy. It's something that we all need. I think whether people are Muslim or non-Muslim, you need that space, you need that privacy. And then, of course, also, we have what the Crescent Rating has done is they've come up with a framework called the REDA framework, all right? And that's, of course, talking about responsibility, immersive experiences, digital, and assurance. So when we have those values in place, those 4 values also connecting with the REDA framework, it speaks to all of those things that we need, all right? I'm not going to go through all of it because we have limited of time. So the market demands, we're looking at standing on 1.8 billion Muslims worldwide. And of course that number is growing. If we think back a couple of months ago, what's happening globally, so many people have reverted to Islam. And of course, there are so many needs that we need to, of course, have in place for these people when they travel. So you're looking at, for 2028, the figure's looking good, about 230 million arrivals with a spend of 225 billion US dollars. I think also our presentation will vary a little bit with the figures because of the updates as we get them. And of course, our key challenges that we have to deal with. So South Africa, we are a non-Muslim country, but we have over 1.7 million Muslims residing there. Our Islam heritage takes us back 350 years, and that's of course where the colonialists brought to our lands people from Indonesia, Malaysia, East Africa, Madagascar, all of those places. And of course, being resistance fighters, they of course had to hold on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make sure that their faith, they were steadfast in that. And alhamdulillah, we may sit at the tip of Africa, but we are strong Muslims, and we, of course, have to take ownership of that. And when I say take ownership, it means that the spaces that we move in, we need to make sure that it is catered to our needs. So certification issues is, of course, always top of the charts because people want to know why should their business be certified in order to cater to the needs of that Muslim traveler and the halal consumer. And of course, standardization across the board, some of it's in place and others are not. But of course, those are for the certifiers to, of course, come around the same table, globally, and speak in one unified voice. Because us as Muslims, when we make salah, we salah in the same direction. So why are we not speaking that particular language as well? Okay? And then, of course, confusion amongst consumers regarding what's halal. I'm of the belief that, can you put diesel in your petrol car? Anybody? Would you like to do that? Can you do that? It's the same. Can you put halal friendly into your system, you as a Muslim? Okay? So these are the conscious decisions we need to make. Because at the end of the day, we do not want to disturb the system of the engine of the car, neither the system of ourselves. Right, then our infrastructure gaps. There are limited halal facilities in many destinations. I must just add, we've been at the beautiful, wonderful Salam for the past couple of days, I think maybe almost a week. It was absolutely amazing. And we went for a beach walk. But on that beach walk, we tried to get a cafe that we could eat at. And none of the cafes were strictly halal. When I say that, they have alcohol on the premises. So how are you catering to the needs of that Muslim traveler when I go into that space? If there's alcohol, there's cross-contamination if it's in the same space. I know that Brother Muhammad was talking about that when they certify a kitchen, which is correct, but at the end of the day, what happens through that whole ecosystem in that establishment? And of course, if there is separation totally and there's no cross-contamination, then of course we're good to go. So I think that's something that, the tourism board should look into and have those conversations with the establishments, because I believe that when you spend money responsibly, you need to get a responsible return on that money spent. And then, of course, also insufficient training of staff in hospitality settings. The key factor is that we need to first create awareness before we train people. It's not just we training people and just training and training, but they're not aware of what they've been trained about or on. So we need to get that conversation, especially when we're dealing with non-Muslims. We need to have that conversation of awareness so that they can understand. Then, of course, cultural misunderstandings, destinations lack awareness, and of course, different patterns and spending. I've just gotten a cue from the moderator, I need to move. Then, of course, economic growth, niche market development, tailoring experiences. We've had wonderful experiences in the village at Salam. We did cooking experiences with the ladies, and it was absolutely amazing. I know how to make chapatis now, which I've never ever made in my life. So alhamdulillah, my husband's going to eat chapatis for the next 5 weeks. Cultural exchange, of course, interaction between cultures we need to understand. And then, of course, sustainability practice is what, of course, Salam does here in Zanzibar. Please have a conversation with Sister Khadija about that. Cultural misunderstandings, Dr. Sabta has just covered. And, of course, economic barriers, costs and halal compliance. And Mr. Muhammad will be able to take you through that. And then, of course, same with economic growth. I've got sustainable village over there, which is of Salam. These are the trained people who are looking for halal accommodation, halal tourism experience. Not far behind with growth in those particular halal tourism destinations. But of course, partnerships is very important with local businesses and government, and of course, promotional campaigns. I've never seen a campaign of Zanzibar in South Africa. Yeah, so we need to look into how we're going to do that. So we've got big ideas in general, but we also have big halal ideas. So how do we take that and implement it? Our call to action, need for collaboration, as I just said now, especially with communities, as Dr. Yanki has mentioned earlier. I'd just like to say before I end that our group left to go over for a safari, and as I walked on the airport, they're busy constructing your airport, right? They're busy doing renovations and building. There was this billboard that said, connect, commit, and construct. And I thought, I'm popping that into my presentation because we need to connect with each other. Please, people, don't leave from here if you haven't met people in the room. We've come from different places around the world, and we need to have that conversation with yourselves. Commitment, very important. When people tell me I'm going to meet you for coffee, I say, please don't tell me that, because I drink tea now. Because you keep on telling me, let's go for coffee, and we never go for coffee. Okay? So I drink tea now, all right? And construct. Let's do it. Let's make sure that when we turn around, it's standing, it's ready, and it's ready to operate. Yeah? That's what it's all about. So at Halal Hopper, we say we don't do different things, we only do it differently. Terima kasih, shukran. Asante.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Feiruz. That was very enlightening, and I hope she has motivated everybody to network before anybody goes home, please. I would now like to invite Mr. Mohammed Sadiq with his presentation that is going to base on strategy and marketing in halal tourism.
Thank you very much, esteemed moderator. Assalamu alaikum, Jumbo. It's really a great pleasure to be here. I'd like to extend my gratitude to Sister Hafsa, the Royal Commission Zanzibar Tourism, Sister Rahma, Brother Salim, and the entire team who have really made our stay thus far a really, really good stay, and have really welcomed us to this beautiful island of Zanzibar. And I'm hoping that this presentation that I'm going to share with you is going to give you some insights on how to develop a strategy around halal tourism. And I would also like to say that this presentation is here for the Muslim product owners, but also particularly for the non-Muslim product owners. I think Sister Fayrouz had mentioned it, and we formed a Halal Tourism Association of South Africa, where our objectives are to ensure that everybody within the ecosystem of travel is part of this journey and that we work together and collaborate with each other. So I'll just try and make sure, I am one that will stick to time, so I'll try and make my points very clear. This presentation hopefully will be available to everybody. But I think I'd like to start, like any strategy starts, you've got to start with a problem statement. What is the problem statement? And I think everybody in their presentations have touched on it. I'm just going to give you a little bit of an insight on what I think is the problem statement around halal tourism. It requires a structured long-term roadmap to maintain the market presence, increase participation in this growing market, and also to remove misconceptions on why halal tourism is promoted. And I think the Honorable Minister mentioned it this morning. I think the misconceptions on why we get involved with halal tourism and why is halal tourism being promoted. South Africa is also taking a lead in it, although we are not a Muslim country, but you can see the opportunities that are there in the halal tourism sector. Halal travelers can only be served by Muslim product owners and DMCs, etc., within the ecosystem. I think this is important. If we all work together and we share the information with each other, it's important then to understand that our non-Muslim product owners are part of the journey and can service them, obviously, through proper certification and ensuring that they comply with the standards through proper education. Depending on a few selective markets that have a majority Muslim population, I know we've seen all the opportunities where they are, and it's been shared today. Definitely those are the opportunities. I'll just give you an example. We third generation Indian in South Africa. We strictly halal, we follow the guidelines of the faith. And when we travel, we're not looked upon coming from a Muslim country, yet our needs are for a Muslim traveler. The same will happen in Europe, the same will happen in North America and Eastern Europe and other parts where the Muslim travelers are. There is an opportunity to actually go globally on this and not just look at selected markets and say that's where we should be looking at. The fragmented messaging on what we need to and what is the need and how to service the traveler that requests halal experience. And I've got a strategy and we'll talk about it slightly. There's no clear approach on how to engage with the value chain within the tourism sector and the broader travel ecosystem. And I talk of the broader travel ecosystem, sometimes we just focus on travel and tourism only. We don't focus on everyone else that touches where the traveler has an experience or will be touching when he's out there doing his tours and that as well. So just Sister Fayrouz had probably read my mind, but although she took it from the airport when she seen it, I took some time to prepare the strategy. On the strategy itself, I've just, do you want me to use the other mic? Use both of them. So it's a very simple strategy that I've thought and applied my mind on, and I'm saying connect, collaborate, and convert. To our non-Muslim guests, I'm not here to say I'm converting you to Islam, so please don't look at it from that perspective. What do I mean by connect? I think the first thing we need to do is connect with the local halal entities within our sector. So particularly here in Zanzibar, if you have halal authorities and halal associations, that includes your ulama, that includes all of the people that play the important role within the sector of halal tourism, within the halal sector. Bring them on board, connect with them, talk to them. Sometimes we work, and it was what I mentioned about the fragmented approach. We think in the tourism sector, we must do it on our own, and then we exclude everybody else. And that's when the mixed messaging goes out because, oh, the tourism sector's on a halal tourism, promoting halal tourism, but they haven't consulted us, and why are they saying this and why are they saying that? So bring everybody in, connect with them, and start with the messaging. Our products and experience in Zanzibar. So of course you have many hotels and you have many people that offer the experiences, your deep sea diving, your fishing, your walks on the beach, whatever, your safari experiences, bungee jumping, whatever you have, bring everybody together, connect with all of them, bring them all across and have the conversation. International trade partners, of course, what you're doing now here, the best practices of different countries and where people are doing things, get in touch with them. Global trade associations, your provincial and local stakeholders, glad to see the government supporting and the governments here as well. Connect with them. The non-channel partners, and I refer when I say non-channel partners, because I think when all of us in the tourism sector will look at it from one eye only, and that is just in the tourism sector, we just look, there's a whole ecosystem that the consumer actually touches when they're out there doing their travel experiences, and make sure you chat to them and bring them on board as well. Product development, I think that's very, very important. I think we need to start connecting and doing some product development as well. Collaborate. So how do we collaborate? Local, global halal associations and stakeholders. We have to collaborate with them. And I think, again, the message was that we don't have a unified message. There's a fragmented message. And I think if everybody gets the same message, that when we talk of halal tourism, that all our associations, whether we are, like I said, we form the Halal Tourism Association of South Africa. Feroz and I have had conversations lots of conversation. We said it will get to a point where we have the African Halal Tourism Association, where we have everybody from all the different parts of Africa, and then we can go to the global and create a global framework and a global association as well. We should do joint trade show participation like the halal tourism exhibitions, and I think it's about making sure that you collaborate with many, many tourism exhibitions and trade shows to take the message of halal tourism and make sure that your message is very clear when you go out there as well. The collaboration must align to the overall tourism brand message. So obviously as a tourism board, you have a brand message of why come to Zanzibar, why travel to the destination of Zanzibar. The halal tourism element should not confuse the consumer and turn the consumer away, because now all of a sudden there's this big message that come to the island, but you're not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z because of the following. And that's when travelers start thinking differently, because the objective is to attract the Muslim traveler, but also the non-Muslim traveler. So your messaging has to be very clear and ensure that you don't overstep the mark and don't create a mixed message. I think I spoke about the non-channel partners. I spoke about that we need to talk to people outside of our ecosystem. A simple thing like the port of entry. When a Muslim traveler enters, if there is, especially the ladies, if there's a need at the port of entry for them to be probably searched or whatever it might be, they must understand what the needs are. I'll give you an example that when a traveler traveled into South Africa from a Muslim country, and that traveler is coming to South Africa years on after that, he was just given a simple greeted in a Salaam alaikum and said, welcome, and I believe you come from the Middle East, and I know a lot about Mecca and Medina. And that simple message of that person arriving and getting that first experience when they arrived at the port of entry, that our ambassador is now, I think I've got time. Oh, am I done? Is my time up? It's 8 months over. Okay, I'll wrap up now. I'm actually at the end of my presentation. I think I didn't say convert to Islam, please don't get me wrong. This is just what I think we can do from a conversion point of view, but I think I mentioned launch marketing campaigns with a unified message, joint campaigns with our product owners. Let's do that with them. I think it's very important that you do campaigns with your product owners in Zanzibar as well. Press fam trips, trade fam trips, I think those are important so that the people can experience and see it as well. I just want to play this video. This is the last part of my presentation, and it's an interesting video. For many of you that don't know who this gentleman is, he was the former international rugby player, Sonny Bill Williams, who reverted to Islam, and this was his message and this was his experience, and I think it's something that you can think about.
Because true wealth isn't worth it if you can't sleep at night.
I think this is very profound, and it's a clear message. Sister, sorry, I know I'm over my time, but I just wanted to correct. I think when the sister did introduce me, she said I'm the manager of marketing promotions at South African Tourism. I did do that for 13 years. My role is now I'm in strategy and director of 3 lodges in the Kruger, fully halal 3 lodges in the Kruger National Park in South Africa. So just wanted to clear that, and I thank you very much. Asante Sane, thank you.
Thank you. You made strategy very easy. Okay, now we're coming back home. Home is Zanzibar. I would now like to invite Professor Mohammed Hafiz to discuss the potential halal tourism in Zanzibar, along with the unique opportunities and how the island can capitalize on its cultural and historical assets to add value to halal tourism.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Let me start by saying that when you are the last, you have both an advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is whatever you want to talk about has been already said, so you don't have to talk much. The disadvantage is you also want to be seen as having contributed to something, but only to find yourself empty-handed. Anyway, for the sake of time, and I know my colleagues have tried their best to explain everything. Yeah. Okay. Let me go straight to the last slide. Because whatever is, because whatever I would like to say has already been said. And I'm sure the slides will be availed to those who are present here. So they'll see what I had prepared myself for. And to do justice to our MC, not MC, but our moderator, let me go straight to the strategical recommendations, which based on what has been said since the opening speech. And here, before I go to the strategic recommendations, I feel that I'll not do justice to my presentation if I don't recognize the contributions of Hafsa. Hafsa, please stand up. Where is Arif? Mohammed Mansour? They're not here. Captain Hamad? They're not here. But, of course, there are a lot of people who contributed to what we are doing today. I've just mentioned 4 of them as representatives of the rest. So please don't feel offended, those who also have contributed to this milestone but haven't been able to mention them. We really appreciate your efforts. We know you've gone through a lot, some of them disappointing, but always when you are in the right path, you should be steadfast. Thank you, Hafsa. Now, strategic recommendations. First of all, we feel that there's need to have capacity building and raise more awareness, because here in Zanzibar, and not only in Zanzibar, but globally, there is a lot of misconceptions about what is halal, as there is a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of misconceptions about Sharia. When you talk about Sharia, everyone thinks about imputation and so on, and flogging. Well, Sharia is wider than that. Similarly, halal is more than what has been perceived by many. So what is important is to make sure that those who are given the responsibility of running the show are well trained and know what they are doing. Otherwise, if there is misconception, it means they will mislead people to believe that halal tourism is just for Muslims, when in reality it's not. Halal tourism is for everybody. When you have halal certified cosmetics, it means not only it is halal from theological perspective, but it is also halal in terms of its impact on the skin. So it means Food and Drugs Authority should also certify that. As a result, when a person sees something with a halal logo on it, it means one is totally certified that I'm going to use a product which is not be harmful to me. So is the food, and so are the clothing and other things. Then there's a need to have collaboration. As my earlier colleagues have mentioned, this is not a silos for everyone to have his or her own. We need to collaborate. Therefore, Zanzibar should engage with local as well as international halal platforms to ensure that we tap from what others have done, we leave the mistakes and concentrate on what is very important. So this is another important thing. And here, where is Brother Matano? I'd like to, is he still here? Mohammed, he went out. Okay. Policy development, when you talk about national issues, you must have a policy. And the development of that policy can be done by the government, but by also involving other stakeholders, chambers of commerce and other associations which are working on that. Infrastructure has been repeatedly mentioned. And when you talk about infrastructure, we don't mean just roads and port, but we mean the whole structure that is needed for halal products or tourism to survive. Now, in conclusion, Zanzibar has significant potential, not only to position by itself, it has already positioned itself. Realizing this potential, there are a number of challenges which we have to overcome. But the most important one is the issue of awareness. If the awareness is not there, it means while you are building, the person who should have supported you will be the one who will be demolishing what you are constructing. So it's very important for people to understand what is halal tourism, what is halal products, and so on and so forth. Now, by adopting a strategic collaborative approach, Zanzibar can tap into the halal tourism market, and other colleagues who are working in this will not see Zanzibar as a competitor, but will see Zanzibar as complementing what they are doing. It means our brother who is in South Africa, our sister who is in Istanbul, they can work together to have a triangular system whereby when a visitor goes to Istanbul, will also come to Zanzibar and then go to South Africa. So a collaborative working together will ultimately end us to be in a win-win situation. Let me end by thanking the moderator, but also thanking our commissioner to Malaysia for being with us all this time, and we believe through his office we can also have an opportunity to learn from our colleagues in Malaysia, Indonesia, and other places. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor. You're always so inspirational to all of us. I would now like to open the floor to any questions that the audience might have. However, due to time, we might not be able to take too many. Are there any questions? Yes, I can see one hand at the back. And
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hamad Hamad. I'm the CEO of Zanzibar National Chamber of Commerce. a great supporter of tourism in general in Zanzibar and promoter of Zanzibar. I am really happy for this exhibition today because it opens our eyes as Zanzibaris and as promoters of tourism to see that there is an avenue that we have not explored. And I can say that as Zanzibaris, we are already late because as for the presentations here, we've seen that the people or the countries have started did things long ago, but they say it's never too late, and it's better be late than never. So I have a few points that I would like to complement the presentations here. And as Professor Mohammed Hafid has said, that as Zanzibar, we have a competitive advantage to embark on this journey. We already have a Muslim community which adopts Islamic heritage. So everything we are doing in Zanzibar as Zanzibaris, it's somehow already basically halal. So it's very easy for us to adopt on this journey of halal tourism than other countries that do not practice Islamic practices. So we have Islamic traditions, we have halal foods. I mean, it's very hard to find the opposite of halal is haram food or unhalal in Zanzibar. It's easy to get everything halal in Zanzibar than in other places of the world. So this is one point that I would like to make and to urge the authorities to already embark on this journey before it's too late. Another point is that by practicing halal tourism in Zanzibar, we are also increase the social acceptability of tourism itself. We all know here that tourism has not been very well welcomed by our communities, especially outside the countries. I mean, the up countries. Like when you go to Pemba, when you go to places like Tumbatu, tourism is not very welcome the way it's seen. But by combining it with halal tourism, then it's easy to penetrate to the hearts of the people of Pemba, to the hearts of people of Tumbatu, to tell them that tourism is not something bad. Tourism in general is not something bad. We can adopt it, we can increase employment opportunities, we can increase income to the government. So I think this is a gateway to the hearts of the people of Zanzibar to accept the tourism. But combined to that, as for the first presentation from Indonesia, they say they identified some islands as these as halal specific islands. So I think we can adopt the same module with Pemba, for example, to make it as a halal destination for our tourism in Zanzibar. Places like Tumbatu, because they are secluded, so it's easy to control those halal practices in those areas. Then we can do it here in the main island of Unguja. We know that the Unguja island is already corrupted, you know. It's everything within. So we can easily adopt halal tourism in Pemba, in Tumbatu, in those Kojani islands. And from there then we can bring it to the main island of Unguja for those who want to practice halal tourism, and for those who don't want, of course, we can continue with our conventional tourism. So that's my contribution in this exhibition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hamad. I must add those are very valuable contributions because you mentioned about the easy accessibility of halal food in Zanzibar and the availability of so many islands around both Pemba and Zanzibar. That already is an indication that we are more than halfway there. It's just about implementation at this point. Thank you, Hamad. Next question. So, Slim.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Safia Abubakar. I'm from Kenya, from Kenyatta University. I have come all the way. When I bet the Zanzibaris themselves don't know who they are as far as halal tourism is concerned, globally, or rather in Africa. And this is a fact because I'm speaking from an academic perspective. So in 2017, Kenya held its first halal tourism exhibition in Nairobi. And in 2017, mind you, Zanzibar already was a name in the halal tourism. In fact, you had a presenter from this university, Out University, Dr. Maulana Ayub. He's from Tanzania University. He had a presentation. Then, when you go to the scholarly articles, there was none from East Africa. There was none. In 2017, I'm talking about 2017. So already, Zanzibar was already in the field of, in fact, when we are quoting these articles, we usually, in fact, I used Maulana's extensively. I used his article. So Zanzibar, maybe you just slept over it a bit. From 2017, you slept over it until recently. I will also, like when I was coming, I had to get a request to come here. So when I just said Zanzibar, so my boss asked me, are you going to Hafsa? Are you going to meet Hafsa? So I didn't know Hafsa then, but now I know her. So I will just add up to the opportunities that Zanzibar has. You're already there in halal tourism. You are already there a long time ago. In fact, they back home there, they tease me. You know, they call me Zanzibari. So we are already there. So I have seen our professor, the one from Indonesia. He was giving us a list of opportunities. So the only item that maybe Zanzibar is not incorporating it fully is in the academic. So we need to, as much as we need to create the awareness in social aspects, regulatory frameworks and all that, but we need to go to the bottom of it and start doing training in our universities and introduce it as a unit. Other non-Muslim universities have incorporated it, like in Japan. Indonesia is already doing it. Malaysia, those ones, maguru. So those ones have no problem. But for us, Zanzibar can be the hub in Africa. We can pioneer in anything halal tourism because we are already halal. Feel lucky to. Zanzibar is halal, is fully loaded halal. You know, from the atmosphere, ukiingia Zanzibar, you can feel it from the atmosphere that it is halal. So we can pioneer everything. What I had in mind is that we can pioneer everything, to be a proper halal destination in everything, including training, the proper training in universities. So that is my addition to.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am very pleased to be here and we really present our compliments for having you here. And we extend our sincere gratitude and heartfelt thanks. We avail this opportunity for our important cooperation. I am Mohammed Mansour. I'm from Presidential Delivery Bureau, and I'm very happy Professor Mohammed is here, Hafsa, from the same team. And especially on this occasion, I'm very happy that because I used to work for the Commission for Tourism, Director of Marketing, so I'm very happy that this initiative is going forward. And my point is, Professor had touched on the area of the Quran, the Holy Quran, touched on the area of traveling and tourism. I have seen there 67:15 and 62:10. But I would like to comment on the physicality of the types of tourism which are located in the Quran, the Holy Quran. If you go to 3:190, it's talking about when you go to places, you can see the creation. So it's all finished from there. But if you are talking about, for example, we are going to see the blue tourism, it's exactly, you can go to 31:31. So why this? Why I'm talking this? One of the reasons for developing halal tourism in Zanzibar, it's a local community. Local community is very important, and my sister had touched on that point here. We can make it as a local tourism, and it can be also termed as an international arena. Because people need to be educated on this, need to understand what is, because it can bring a lot of money here. For example, if people are told, or the community is educated about Islamic values on the tourism area, they would appreciate that. In the mosques, in the different forums, that will be very appreciated. Regarding other ways of educating the community. For example, if I tell you that the Quran itself does mention 14 times the word siru. Siru means to walk and see. To walk and see. But the verses what you quoted there is masha, to just walk. Famshu fi manakibiha, just to walk like this. But siru is walking and see, and you can sleep there and witness something 14 times. You can go for the reference 3:137, 5:11, but the exception of the 14th one, 22:46, is not talking about just sleeping, it's talking about the hearts. So this is my comment, that people need to be educated on this, and the environment, the history, the culture, the government strategies are all supporting the developing of halal tourism in Zanzibar. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for your contribution. Can we have our last question from Mr. Slim, and then we wrap up the panel, please?
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Slim Abdallah. I'm a corporate lawyer based in Zanzibar, and thank you for that presentation. I'm so much excited. My small question is, with the experience, especially with from Indonesia, with the rising of the halal tourism, as we know in the market, we might have like a conventional tourism and halal tourism. With your experience, with the coming up of Islamic or halal tourism, is there any way in which conventional tourism was affected, or they were just complementing each other and moving forward? That's it. Thank you.
I think I want to give compliment to the Muhammad. You are ulama, right? Yeah. Sitting for 14 times for the Al-Quran. Yeah, that's good. Huh? Not normally 16, not 14. The important things from Quran is, we are brotherhood, a very strong brotherhood between Muslims over the world. That's why you make me crazy, yeah? Hello. Yeah? Then why that one of the hospitality in Islam has been long discussion in Malaysia with me, this is Silaturahim. Silaturahim is visit each other. That's why in tourism World Tourism Organization principle, seeing is believing, experiencing is believing. I don't know the brother in Zanzibar, how his life, how his food and nurture. And then when I was here, I had a good experience. Yes, that's part of the importance of tourism, that we can learn from each other and we have experience. Experience is believing. And then we keep experience as souvenir. Souvenir is French words. Souvenir is so souvenir. Then we remember up to all the time. And I think then, of course, before this more promotional, we promote within the family. Now it's media social. We, of course, with the Instagram, with podcasts, with Facebook, and etc. That Muhammad, that's good. That's why Zanzibar has a lot of heritage, especially cultural heritage. Like, I never seen the old town has been organized and managed pretty well. Clean, calm, there's no pressure from the merchandising. What's merchandise? From the commercial side. Normally they have to pressure the customer, buy or not buy. And then in this old town, the stores stay calm, like they don't need money, but in fact they also need money, right? When I buy some hat and etc. The important, they well educated. It's happened in somewhere. There's a very pressure one, and then aggressive, more aggressive. That's in here, this good one. That's experience, I tell you. Because I travel a lot as a minister, just travel a lot as an official from tourism. There's a free. That's why I travel a lot in Africa, Seychelles, Mauritius, Comor even, and also I've been there in Accra, South Africa, of course, and the first time in Zanzibar. That's impressed me, old town. That's very interesting to see for the culture side, right? That Muhammad, that one, visiting each other is also silaturahim, what we call ukhuwah, watonia, and then etc. And the second thing, the experience of Indonesia about halal tourism is long. It's already 15, the discussion. Between mazhab, like with Professor, different mazhab, he's Shafi'i, Hanbali. Then the third mazhab is money. They're different on the money, not different as mazhab. That's why there's many definition has been issued by community, by ulama, by practitioner, and then we come up with the one of accepted definition. One is a Muslim-friendly destination, halal-friendly destination, and also Muslim-friendly destination. That's why, because they're skeptics about the marketing. Scary if they're halal tourism. There are not many clients coming for that. Finally, there are many of halal restaurant, halal hotel, principal, and then they work very well. If you look at non-Muslim countries like Bangkok, there are about 15 or 20 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel on behalf of the halal hotel leading sector. You can see I have stayed 2 times El Meros. El Meros is not only for the Muslim. The leading halal hotel in Bangkok, you can imagine. Bangkok is very not very easy for, especially for tourists, normal tourists, There's many entertaining area in Bangkok. But still, halal hotels work well. Why? Many also non-Muslim coming this hotel. I asked them, why you coming this hotel, this halal hotel? Because this hotel halal is selling the, what is it, calmity. The calmity. Because they come, not like that, the other hotel, there's discotheque, there is also unpolite, not unpolite, maybe, I don't know how to tell you. They're wearing what we call, it's not Shari base. That's why. Then Indonesia also has happened. Then this morning your minister said, yeah, no problem. Then you'll now learn what have been discussing with Malaysia, Indonesia about notion of halal tourism. I think you can just adopt it easily. Why? Because we have long time the experience for that. And connecting with the Zanzibar, Indonesia, as I mentioned in my presentation, we have a lot of outbound, lot of mean, because compared with the population, we have 270 million. It's 1% already, 270,000 people they're going to outbound, what we call middle class or high class, where they have the money to go out of Indonesia. I think Zanzibar can be one of the destination. Of course, Turkey one of the best because we transit there. And then, yes, I just want to conclude, to promote Zanzibar, not to promote Indonesia. That's Indonesia. That's why you have to come to Indonesian exhibition, expos, and in Indonesia. Like professor is in Bali, but he didn't tell in Bali. What were they doing in Bali? Huh? Yeah, promoting also Zanzibar. Thank you, moderator, for giving me time.
To you all day if we had time.
No problem, no problem, no problem. I just you able to consult for our experience. That's for free for Zanzibar, or just substitute with the food, right?
Yes, absolutely. People are hungry. Everyone's looking at me like you are the one with the so they're looking at me.
Yeah.
But it's not me, I promise.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Also, we like to make it halal meeting by going to pray as well.
Yeah, first salah, then food. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap up the panel first. I thoroughly enjoyed moderating this one, and I'm just going to piggyback on what everybody has said on this panel. And there was a mutual word that every panelist used, and that was collaboration. So I encourage everyone to reflect on how we can continue to
Huo ulikuwa ni mjadala wa pili, na kama unavyoendelea kutazama hapo sasa hivi ukiwa unahitimishwa na yule ambaye alikuwa akiuendesha, Samiha Ali. Na miongoni mwa mengi ambayo yamezungumzwa katika mjadala wa pili, kikubwa zaidi ni namna ambavyo halali tourism ama utalii wa halali ulivyo na thamani kubwa kwenye ulimwengu hivi sasa.
Zanzibar don't reinventing the wheel. You have to fast learner because you have Malaysia and Indonesia, how they manage halal tourism. That you fast track. You can have 15 degrees and goes to halal tourism.
Thank you. We look forward to...
Tumelazimika kumpisha Dr. Nirwanda ambaye kuna kitu alikuwa anakiongezea, lakini yeye ndiye ambaye pia ametuambia kuhusiana na thamani kubwa ambayo ipo kwenye soko la utalii wa halali, akituambia kwamba zaidi ya dola za Marekani trilioni 3,958 zinatumika katika Islamic finance peke yake. Hiyo ni kwa sekta hiyo ya utalii kwa mwaka wa 2023, wakati dola 318 bilioni zenyewe zimetumika katika eneo tu la masuala mazima ya fashion. Wakati huo zaidi ya dola 247 zenyewe ziko zimetumika katika eneo la vyombo vya habari vya halali. Lakini pia dola trilioni 1,403 zimetumika katika eneo la chakula pekee. Chakula pekee katika maana ya kwamba ulaji wa vyakula halali, vyakula ambavyo mfumo wake mzima wa maandalizi mpaka matumizi yake vinakuwa ni halali, thamani yake imefikia hiyo dola trilioni 1,403. Lakini mbali ya hivyo, wajumbe wameendelea kusisitiza kwamba kuna umuhimu mkubwa sana wa watu kuendelea kushikamana ama kuungana ama kushirikiana katika kukuza utalii wa halali. Hebu tusikilize sasa maelekezo yanayotoka kwa muongozaji wa mkutano huu.
Wapitie na mjue zile product ambazo watu kwenye utalii wanazitoa, facilities and services in the halal tourism. You can ask your questions and you can support them. Tunakaribisha sana. Without forgetting, we are taking a break and we'll be back at 2 p.m. for this last panel discussion, which is even more interesting. Kwa hivyo ningeomba sote turudi hapa for the last panel discussion at 2 p.m. For now, we can take a break to stretch yourself and
Please, let's visit the
Baada ya
exhibition.
maelekezo hayo nikwambie kwamba tunakwenda kwenye mapumziko mafupi, na wakati huu pamoja na mapumziko hayo maanake ni wakati wa sala dhuhuri, hivyo inshallah tutarejea tena kwenye matangazo itakapofika saa 8 kamili kwa ajili ya kikao kingine ama uwasilishaji wa tatu. Jina langu ni Moses Mohamed pamoja na crew nzima